The Lord truly warns us before things happen. The Lord warns us so we can take precautionary measures that are necessary. In the morning of the 14th March 2026, I had this disturbing dream. I dreamed that I was at an event, and I remember just greeting people. This was just before it was time for us to eat lunch. But I was walking around just catching up, and I got out of the auditorium and I was now where, like, in the garden area there were stretch tents. The theme was white. I just remember everything was just white. Okay. And I remember the white stretch tents. And I happened to look up in the sky and I saw black rocks. Okay. They were just big black rocks that looked like they had charcoal charcoal in them, or what looked like charcoal attached to them. So they were black. You could see it was like a rock that had burnt, but there were parts of it that were ablaze, but they looked like the shape of charcoals. It was just those um charcoal shaped ablaze things around the rock, around the black rock. And I remember looking at it and looking at how ablaze they were. You know how charcoal is when it's in the fire, you know? So it was ablaze, it was red, red hot. So I just thought to myself, like, where it touched, it could probably just start fire. So I then naturally started to point up to people around and I said, look, look. And I was surprised that people hadn't seen it yet. So people looked up. I really don't know what they were seeing, but according to me, they were seeing what I was seeing, but they didn't see the urgency of it, or they didn't understand, or they froze. I don't understand. The panic and the haste that I expected to see from them wasn't there. But after showing the people that were around me, they looked up. And a thought came that for me to avoid traffic, to avoid stampede, it would help me to get the people I came with so that we can leave the place. So I quickly gathered the people I came with and we began to hold hands tightly as we maneuvered through the crowd. And I remember as we were about to we left the that area, the garden area, but now I remember we're still in the venue. We're approaching the place where tables had been prepared. I remember just beautifully decked out tables with white tablecloth. The theme was white. It was beautiful and the decor. But this was not a wedding. I don't think it was a wedding, but it was very beautiful. I don't know what event was this. I don't know. Perhaps it was a wedding, but I don't think it was a wedding. And then we carried on walking as we tried to make our way out of the venue. And I remember we got to where the people who had prepared the food were, and the decor. They were all dressed in white overalls too. And a thought came for me to just quickly just to for us to quickly dish, because I doubted I wanted to stop on the way for us to buy food. I decided let's just get food and we're gonna have to drive as far as we can from this place. And I even that we should even get a 2 liter Coke, because we won't be stopping for water or anything. But as we got closer, I realized that it was just going to take time to dish. And I told myself that there won't be any need for us to dish. And the people I came with never questioned me, they just went along with me. And there was no time to dish. So I quickly just went to the freezer and I grabbed a 2 liter Coke and we began to maneuver again our way out of that place, because there were people who were there also taking out drinks to help themselves. And just as we were about to now face to face the gate, to face the gate so we can leave. But now we were also passing the people who had prepared food and the decor. They were in white overalls as well. A thought came to me that I can't just leave. Let me tell them. There was no time to explain. Because what was funny was that in the other side of the venue, that's where we saw the the meteor that looked like it was about to hit Earth. It was many of them. It was many black rocks close together. I could say one could have been as it was uh, I would say the steering wheel is small, perhaps a human arm. That's how wide it was, as wide as a human arm, an adult arm. So and they were close together. So like I couldn't explain. I didn't know how to even explain to these ladies that this is what I saw, and I didn't want to sound ridiculous. So I just said to them, there is no time. You people have to leave. I said to them, it's not safe. Very soon you're going to see the people coming from the venue running. This is your time to leave to avoid traffic and stampede. And there was this lady who had a bald hairstyle. Okay. She was bald. She cut her hair bald, her head bald. As I said this, as I remember her nodding, but her nodding was in like, yeah, we heard you, as if to shoo me away. But at that time, I had peace in my spirit to leave. I felt I had done what I had to do. But before I left, I felt to say this to them. I said, some of you will take heed, some of you won't. But for those of you who will listen and will take heed, that handful of you, we will meet again after this has passed. And I remember there were like maybe 4 or 5 ladies who were seated there by the table, and I was looking at each and every single one of them as if to memorize their face. I knew I wouldn't remember their face, but in my heart, I knew they would remember my face, and we would meet after this. Those who would take heed of the warning, and we would meet, and then they would remind me that remember you did give a warning. It was we were among those who listened and we escaped. So then we began to make our way out of the venue, and I had peace about it, that I did my best to warn the people. And as we left, my heart broke because I knew there's going to be devastation. It was not just the devastation from the fires that are fueled because by the meteors, but the stampede, you know, that would cause death and the accidents that could come from there. So my spirit grieved for the people who were leaving behind. So when I awoke, this reminded me of the dream that I had on the 9th of February 2026, where I said I saw a spaceship that was large. And after that, after it has passed, I saw what looked like black rocks that were very spiky, but they were far off. Like it looked like we still had time, like it would take time for them to come to hit Earth. But in the second dream, they were close, so close that I couldn't even see the spikiness of them. Those spikes that I first saw in the first dream, I didn't see them. And I didn't see small rocks. These ones were big. And I could see that they were lit by these charcoal things. Or they looked like they had charcoal that was lit in them. So they were literally just fire. Okay? It was just a huge big rock of fire, basically. So I awoke and my spirit was grieved. Even now, as I record this dream, like the whole day, the dream kept on coming to my mind. And I feel that the Lord is saying, I warned you the first time. Now I'm warning you the second time. I have heard in the past about people who spoke about meteor falling. I've never really been a fan of studying the universe and stuff because I really don't know if I even believe in those things. So much I question. So for someone like me to believe, it literally takes a dream from the Lord to warn me. So I actually saw it in my dream and I was in shock and I was afraid. I don't want to lie to you. I was afraid. And it's human to be afraid. It doesn't mean I don't trust God. I was just afraid. So when after the dream, I just said a little, just a short prayer, but I told the Lord that, you know, your people, when I want them, I feel like they won't hear me, just like in the dream. But then I remembered when I said to those ladies that there's a handful of you who will remember. There's a handful of you who will heed to this warning, and you will get to run, and you will survive, and will get to talk about it. Meaning this will pass. It's just one of those things that we'll have to face as part of the end times, but it's not the end of the world yet. So this is just some of those things we have to go through. So I felt that I just needed to just pass the message, to just pass the message. The dreams that I get that I must share, I don't see this calling as a crown on my head, but rather as a cross that I must carry on my back, because it usually comes with backlash. So this is for the handful of people who will hear me, because I know that before the things happen, there will be signs, and it's something in their minds will click. Those who will take heed, those who will take this warning seriously. The warning dreams I've said, they will be able to pick up the signs, and their spirits will testify. I really believe that their spirits will testify. The Lord will remind them, and then they'll be able to escape, because this too shall pass. This is still the beginning. Remember, we are truly living in the end times.